Boom! Yes folks, Hume again. This is the final video in the series on completing these squares. And just as we did in the last video, we're going to work an entire question where the coefficient of x squared is not just plus 1 or minus 1, but something else. In the previous video it was plus 2. In this video, the coefficient of x squared is minus 3, as you see written behind me on the board there. So let us get to work immediately. So they want us to complete the square on this. Minus 3x squared plus 7x minus 11. So, just as we did in the video previous to this one, we factorize the entire expression by taking out the coefficient of x squared as the common factor. So we have minus 3 into x squared minus 7 over 3x plus 11 over 3. So what we did here is that you're remembering, of course, that when you take a negative quantity out as the common factor, the signs inside the bracket will change. Alright? So you take minus 3 from 7, you divide plus 7 by minus 3, you're left with minus 7 over 3. You divide minus 11 by minus 3, you're left with plus 11 over 3. So we continue. You have minus 3 into, and we're taking this now and we're expressing it as a difference of two squares. So we get x minus 7 over 6 squared minus 7 over 6 all to be squared plus the same 11 over 3 that you have there. So from this point, the working will proceed as normal, where you have a coefficient of 1 for x squared. Remembering, of course, that we have minus 3 on the outside, which we will multiply back by everything inside here at the very final stage. So we continue. That is equal to minus 3 into x minus 7 over 6 squared. Minus 7 over 6 squared is 49 over 36 plus 11 over 3. Now we have a situation where instead of having a whole number here, you have a fraction. Alright? But we have a fraction here too. So what we do, we express these two fractions with the same denominator without changing the value of this fraction here. So in this case, the common denominator will be 36. So we're going to express 11 over 3 as a fraction with 36 as the denominator. That, of course, will simplify the arithmetic at the level of numerator on top. So we come in back again from the top of the board with the blue ink, just as we did before. Right, so we're going to rub off here now. And we come in and we're saying that this is the same thing as minus 3 into x minus 7 over 6 squared minus 49 over 36, 11 over 3, plus, we multiply by 3 to get the 36, multiply the 3, sorry, by 12 to get the 36. So we must multiply the 11 by 12 to get the top here. 11 by 12 is 132. Alright? So this is what we have now, where we take the 11 over 3 and we express it as a fraction with a denominator of 12. Right? It makes the arithmetic a lot simpler if you do that, as opposed to all the other options for adding fractions together. So we continue. Next line would be minus 3 into x minus 7 over 6 squared minus 49, sorry, we don't know what we ended up here with yet. Minus 49 plus 132 is the same thing as plus 132 minus 49. So 132 minus 49 will be, that would be 83. 83 and 50 is 133. 83 and 49 is 132. Right. So that will be plus 83 over 36. Now, don't try to do these things in your mind, in your head, if you're not fully confident of doing it, right? It takes a certain level of proficiency and familiarity with the numbers, and yes, confidence to do that, especially under the pressure of an exam. So don't, not because you see me doing it in the video, means that you're necessarily going to try that in your exam environment. Yes, by all means, if you could do it, do it. But if you need to be safe, then you could be safe without any loss of ego, so to speak. Right? This is not about the ego. This is about getting the solution and practicing. Right? Now, sometimes as you practice enough, you find that you could do it like that. But if you need the assistance of the calculator, by all means, enlist the assistance of the calculator. So we're moving ahead. So in the last line now, we're going to multiply everything back by minus 3. So that will give us minus 3 multiplied by x minus 7 over 6 squared. And minus 3 multiplied by 83 over 36 will be minus 83 over 12. And that there is your answer. Now, there's a particular peculiarity with this setup where the coefficient of x squared is negative, because sometimes in the exam, instead of asking for a into x plus h squared plus k, they'll do this. They'll say k minus a into x plus h to be squared. Because once you start off with a negative coefficient of x squared, you will get a negative something on the outside here, minus something multiplied by whatever. Just as we had here, minus 3 into x minus 7 over 6, all to be squared. So in that case, your k would be, watch it here, minus 83 over 12. Sorry, let me write it over as what the answer will be. So if we have to write this in that form, what we'll end up with would be, let me see, let's change up the different colors now. If we have to write this in that form, what we'll end up with would be, I'm going to steal some space here now, we'll end up with minus 83 over 12 minus 3 into x minus 7 over 6 squared. Right? That is what we'll end up with if we have to adopt this particular convention here. And if we do that, then your k would be, we go back to red now, your k would be minus 83 and 12 down in the corner here, right? Minus 83 and 12. Your a would be 3, not minus 3, because you have the a here with the minus sign in front of it. So you have the a would be equal to 3. And then you have your h would be minus 7 over 6. Right? So if you have to adopt this particular convention, if that is what they ask for, then you give them the a, k, and h as outlined there. Now, if they adopt the usual format, and instead of asking for k minus a into x plus h squared, they ask instead for the regular, the normal, the usual. If they ask for the regular a into x plus h squared plus k, then in this case, your a will be minus 3, h will still be minus 7 over 6, and your k would be the same, minus 83 over 12. So that is one extra bit of, what should I say, complication to look for in this case where the coefficient of x squared is negative, right? Depending on what they ask for. If they ask for this or this, right? Again, they might ask for this format or they might ask for this format. So the only thing that will change between those two formats will be the value of A, because this format takes the minus sign into account. This format, you have to include the minus sign as part of the value. But that is just minor details. The most important thing is that you can start from the start and break it down and complete the square properly. Alright, so that is it. Right? I really hope that you would have gained a lot by going through these 12 videos, and now we have the perfect platform to practice, and get to the level of mastery where you could just do whatever you have to do, and then use this technique of completing the square in all of the different scenarios in which they will ask you to use it. Right? So it's not just about being able to do it. Being able to do it is the first thing. The second thing now is being able to use it in different scenarios. You might have to use it to sketch a quadratic curve. You might have to use it to answer certain questions about a quadratic curve. What is the minimum point? What is the maximum point? What is the axis of symmetry? What is the maximum value of the function? What is the minimum value of the function? Right? You might be called upon to solve a quadratic equation by completing the square. Alright? So now that you're in a position where you could master the actual mechanics of completing the square, the next step is to go forth and use it wherever you're called upon to use it. Alright? So keep good, continue working hard, continue practicing, stay positive, maintain the work ethic, stay in touch, and look out for more maths videos on more topics.